Hello, everybody. I'm so happy and so honored to be here and to take part of this important conference. I'll just take you to a journey about the medical application and hemodialysis. But before I start, I want to thank Dr. Heba very much for the invitation and for the useful guide. So I will start my talk today about talking about the hemodialysis. As we know that hemodialysis is a process of purifying blood from impurities and wastes that can exist in blood, and it's so harmful. So when there's someone with kidney failure, he results to hemodialysis to make this process through a machine called the hemodialyzer, and this machine consists of some fitted membranes that can mimic the functions of the native broken kidney, and this membrane is my talk today, and I'm gonna talk about the developments that happened to the hemodialyzer since the first time it was used to the present and the future trends. So let's start with a good question. Why developing membrane technology used in hemodialysis is an urgent field? If you don't know, but there's 10% of the global population is suffering all from kidney failure. And since it's not affordable to most of them to resort to the kidney transplant, so from here, hemodialysis application technology has emerged and has been the common trend and the medical applications and the membrane medical applications, and that's what attracted me to this field and led me to do this review article. So first of all, in the very beginning, scientists used the cellulosic membrane in hemodialyzer, and from its name, it consists of cellulosic membranes fitted together, manufactured from a saccharide called cellulose, sorry. And it was used for a long time, but because owing to its hydrogen construction, because it enabled the low wall thickness of the hemodialyzer to be combined with high porosity, and that enabled the high transport and effective expulsion of the blood impurities. But then it was no longer used because it has low biocompatibility. And if anyone here doesn't know what biocompatibility means, it is the property of a material to be compatible with the living tissue. So it was a pivotal reason to no longer use this kind of membrane. And then scientists made some more modifications on this kind of membrane to solve these demerits, but it's still not used because it has a very, very bad disadvantage, which is it couldn't filter the medium-sized impurities that could be found in blood. Later on, scientists created the scientific membranes, and this membrane will outnumber the cellulosic membranes in many things like biocompatibility and filtration capability, but it's still not the perfect and the ideal membranes because many of the hemodialysis patients who were cured with this membrane experienced oxidative stress and low blood pressure while they were treated with this kind of membrane. After that, in the meantime, researchers are focusing on reducing the usage of fresh water in hemodialysis, And also they are focusing on getting rid of the disadvantages of the synthetic membranes. And also the very new trend is that there are a group of Iranian researchers that could experiment for the first time the usage of the electrospun nanofibers membranes in hemodialysis, and they found so promising results as they found that it's as commercial as the synthetic membranes to be used in the hemodialysis, and also it has the same disadvantages of the synthetic membranes. Finally, I think no doubt that every effort could be put in this field is worthwhile due to the big amount of the kidney failure patients and due to the importance of this field. So it was my last part of my review article. So you can see in the proceeding of the conference what I have reached. I made a review article about the developments and what happened all the years from the first time scientists resort to hemodialysis and the applications of the membranes used in this field from the first time until to date. Okay, and thank you for this great event, and thank you for listening to me. And if there are any questions, go on.
No, thank you so much for the very interesting and very enthusiastic presentation. We're getting to the end of this session, so and then there are no questions. Is there any question? Any question? Further, Lamir. Right, I thought that you had a question. I don't think I have a question. Yes. Further.
We stopped at the level of cellulosa stick membrane for the hemodialysis. We not going with polyamide membrane.
Anyway, I was focused in my lecture on my talk, so I didn't get that important to my. Anyway, I was focused much more on my talk in this lecture, so I can take a quick glance at my PPT and show you what I have prepared. Okay, here was the first week. Mohamed Hassan, I am a chemical engineering student, and it's a picture of the hemodialysis process. As we see here, that is the hemodialyzer. Here, that's the hemodialyzer, and it just mimics the functions of the failure broken kidney in regards of verifying the blood from impurities and wastes and so on. And then here I was talking about how this
السؤال هو هيقول الدكتور بيسال السلوز اسيد بطلوا يستخدموه في الدياليسيس. ايه الجديد؟
What's new is the using of the synthetic membrane owing to its high biocompatibility. Here I'm showing the advantages and disadvantages of the synthetic membranes. Is they're used nowadays, and most researchers بالظبط.
هو ما احنا عايزين نقول كده. الدكتور جمال بيسال سؤال.
So nowadays researchers are focusing on solving the disadvantages of the synthetic membranes. And here I'm showing the disadvantages and the advantages of synthetic membranes, and also the electrospun nanofibers, electrospun nanofibers membranes are used nowadays, and it was so recent to be experimented in Iran by these researchers I mentioned, and it got so good promising results. So it can be the future trend in this field. Here I'm saying about what's the future trends. So as you see here, reducing the usage of fresh water and hemodialysis, recycling hemodialyzers, because according to the Guardian journal, there are about 600,000 of hazardous wastes are produced as a result of eradicating the dialyzers. So it's a future trend too, and tackling the disadvantages of synthetic membranes, as well as experimenting with the electrospun nanofibers membranes in hemodialysis. So that's all.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
هايل وبنشجعك تاني